Hey there, and welcome back. Your host of Live, Love, Lost, Jason Mackintosh, joined
with Katrina Madewell.
Yes.
Your second host of
Yes.
Live, Love, Lost. And
dual host.
It's been a minute since we've been here.
It has.
A lot of stuff has happened in 2 weeks.
Episode number 14, by the way,
Yes.
in case you were counting. So, yeah, I can't wait to get into, we were having like a little pre-show before the show.
We were.
And it's funny because we were talking about, hey, we got to save this for the show.
We're like, scrap the outline that I gave you. Just, we're going to go another direction.
Yeah, we always do that. And so the show before the show, like all our conversations is a show anyway. We're a walking, talking radio show most of the time anyway. But it was starting to get good, and Katrina's like, save it for the show.
Stop talking.
Save it for the show. I'm like, okay, we'll keep it fresh. So here we are.
Yeah. So the topic or title or something or other, we'll see what direction it actually goes and where we land. But I think
we always get off the rails.
We do. But a good topic for today's show is what happens when you are a widow or a widower.
Yes.
And you start living your life the way you feel like you should live your life.
Correct.
And other people don't approve.
Yeah, I love this topic. Rebuilding life after multiple losses. So it's very important, and I want to kind of share.
But that was a different show, right? Rebuilding life after multiple losses?
No, that was actually, this is episode
I know.
number
Remember,
14.
we said we're scrapping it. That's going to move down.
So we're getting into this one. We'll call it whatever you want to call it. So, but before we jump into it, a little testimonial. So I have, in real estate, we both deal with death and divorce, every month, right? So I have a listing going live this weekend, and it's a client from before. Purchased a home less than 2 years ago with her husband, both veterans, used their VA loan, and husband just passed away, right? In their he was in his mid-60s, so still super young. And so she's in that very beginning stage, right?
And you did that appointment yourself?
Yes, did it myself. Okay. And so, I had the conversation with her before. She told me what was going on. And I shared with her there on the phone call. So that instantly put her at ease, being a widower. And so that's an instant connection, an instant bond. And then you can actually, just by them knowing that you have that bond, it puts them at ease.
Yes. And it's an immediate connection.
Immediate, like ours was.
Like you can understand. My first appointment back after being out 3 months, the lady was a widow.
Well, you just said because you can understand, and the other saying people say without thinking about it is, I couldn't imagine, I couldn't understand, what you're feeling. So the fact that we do, it is an instant bond. And so when I got there, got a little emotional and just gave her a big hug, right? So that makes a difference. So anyway, I shared with her that I do a radio show or a podcast that you would really like, Live, Love, Lost, and we talk all about this. And I told her about the stages of grief that she's going through, and you should really listen because what you're describing, we talk about that. And so I got busy and on to my day, and I'd forgot to send her the link. And the next day, she's like, "You didn't send me the link. I want to listen." So yeah, I thought that was really cool and special.
I can't wait for the feedback,
yes.
Which will be probably a couple episodes later because I think we're going to cut a few today. But
yeah.
I want to hear.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So now we're going to fast forward because we've done all the talking with the grief, went through the stages, and I can understand more so this topic. And it's probably you're in that season right now because Chris passed in November, so it's been almost exactly 7-8 months, right?
Almost 9.
9 months. So I totally remember this, and it was 17 years ago for me. And so do you mind if I kind of give a little precursor?
I would love it. I had to shut you up earlier because I knew it was going to be too good. We had to just wait and save it for radio.
So I want to kind of give the audience the setup of what I think that you're experiencing right now. And we will kind of talk about that now on the show because everyone does grieve differently. Everyone processes grief differently. People's timelines are different, but what you're not there for are all those days that we just can't get up, and the time when you're alone, silence is deafening, right? Yeah. So you are just caught up in all the emotions and the grief and that song on the radio, that spot in the house, the saying, whatever it is, the memories that it just stirs up, especially, in your case, after that's most of your life, 3 decades, right? So it's the biggest chunk of your life period thus far. And so you have all of that. And we also talked about what our partner wants and having the conversations of making sure that you speak about death and wishes before it happens, because partner does not want to leave you in pieces. They don't, especially when they know they're on the journey of death. So there are conversations about you moving on, finding someone, doing those things, live your life, all of these things. So we've had those conversations. It's not like we're looking for permission, but it's almost like they're giving you the permission, letting you know, hey, it's okay. I want you to be okay.
And I'm sure your kids weren't even privy to those conversations, right? There was a private conversation with you and Helena.
Yes, for sure. So what will happen is we have those times alone. And I remember back in my time, I had a 9-month-old, an 8-year-old, and a 13-year-old, and I was working a very demanding job. I was in the car industry, so 80 hours a week. And so, that was my escape, really, was pouring it into, I became married to my business, and that's still not a very healthy thing, but it was my outlet, right? So you work, it takes your mind off of it. I didn't have time to grieve or mourn. Then I'm busy with my children. So, dating and things like that, it probably was I didn't really have time for it. And you don't think about that in the very beginning, but listen, after a month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months, 6 months go by, 7 months. Okay.
Now we're talking days into weeks into months. It's a long time.
That's a long freaking time, because there's people out there that dated someone for 6 or 7 months and feel like that was like a lifetime in that short period of time. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I've been with this person for, you still have a good chunk of your life. I mean, 7 months to know someone pretty intimately is still a good section, right? Okay. So where I'm going with that is it's gonna inevitably come a point in time where we never really will stop grieving. There will always be some grief there. They're always going to be a part of your life, but there will start to be a little judgment or a little judginess going on behind the scenes, because it's like, oh, well, it's just too soon. How could they be out there doing this and doing that and posting this and posting that? I guess they just didn't this, and I guess they just didn't that. Well, you know what? Screw you, because you're not here for what I'm living, what I've dealt with for the past 7 months and 8 months, and the days I spent locked up in my room, or the tears, or the alone time, where you're just trying to get out there and breathe and actually have an outlet and actually feel better about yourself, and actually trying to be healthy as opposed to unhealthy by just shutting down and caving in and locking yourself up behind 4 walls, behind the door. You're just trying to live because that's what your partner would want you to do. That's the healthy thing to do. That's what you should do for yourself. You don't need people who can't relate and understand what you're going through to cast judgment, because those people are judging everyone in life anyway, right? And how dare they do that, because they don't understand it. So yeah, I will kind of let you kind of jump in. I'm sure you want to.
Before we do, I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
it's probably good for the person listening too.
Well, what's cool for not to cut you off, but what's cool is I want to give some context to the audience that there is a big spread between us as far as when it happened, and I think that's awesome element on the show, because 17 years, less than 9 months, we're in very different places, sides of the spectrum. So I think that's good. But go ahead.
And the kids, like you had young kids, I have adult kids, so
exactly.
Our situations couldn't be more opposite.
Yep.
So, question before I move on and jump into like how the last couple weeks have been and the topic of the show, which is going to be plenty in itself,
abundant.
But when you went on the first date, talk about that. So where'd you meet the person? Where did you go? And did you have this weirdness, like this weird feeling, kind of like you're cheating on your wife, or like you're not sure if you're supposed to be there, like just that awkward feeling?
Yeah. That's a great question, and you think too much of my memory, because I was 17 going on 18 years ago, but I remember the feeling.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't remember
about
the details, like where we went, what time, and what she was wearing, anything like that, what I was wearing. But I remember it was just, you have to remember that, because let me digress. And I was very faithful to my wife. We were married, but she was very Polish, I think I've mentioned before, and very outspoken and she definitely was in charge. She definitely, she'll let you know she wore the pants, and I just let her wear the pants because it was easier that way. So yeah, if I'm out with the friends, just something simple and having a few beers, I mean, she probably really wasn't having that type of thing, or her mind would immediately go to the worst. So I was always used to that anyway. I swear I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just having some drinks. Can't I do that? So, just not getting those, knowing you're not going to get that call or text message, knowing that you have full permission to do it. You can actually do it. So that was kind of a weird dynamic, right? Because you've been with someone for so long.
So was it a sad feeling for you? It wasn't.
It was just not so much sad as if it's almost like she was still here. It was so new that the reality set in. Man, she really isn't here, because you're going through these things almost secretly thinking that they're just you're busted and just show up at the bar there.
Yeah,
right.
It does feel like that.
And
it really does.
You're just like waiting for someone to pull the curtain back.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And it's almost like more of that than the excitement of the person there. So I almost feel bad for the person on the date with me, because they're on the date with me and my late wife at the same time.
That is so well said.
Yeah, I mean, literally. So you almost just scrap that one because it's going to be a bust. The first few are going to be a bust.
Yes.
It's like, boy, this guy's got some baggage. Because, listen.
How many months was that?
It could have been 6-7 months into it.
Okay.
Yeah, into the grief time. So,
homeboy's got baggage.
Well, that's it, and you will, and I did. So maybe I still do. I don't know. So the fact of the matter is, you're going to go. That's going to happen for the first few. So get out there and do it, and just don't have expectations. That's what I said before. Go out and have some bad dates. Quit trying to have expectations of replacing your partner, because you're not going to.
What was the situation with your kids, right? Because Dennis was 13.
Yeah.
So did they say anything? Did they know you were out? Did they ask where you were?
Dennis is a dude. He don't care. But my daughter was 8 at the time, and whoo-wee.
So she knew you went on a date.
Pissed.
Okay.
Yeah. If there was even the sight of a woman around, she would just she wasn't having it. No, immediate stink eye. So no, and honestly, I think she's 25 now with 3 children of her own, but there was even some time, even in the past 5 or 6 years or 7 years, that it was still, when I sensed that, and it definitely happened, I tried to be the good father, and I guess I felt guilty for shame on me for that type of a thing. But honestly, at the same time, I had really good intentions, because Helena said to me, make sure they're good to our children. Yeah. Make sure she takes care of the children. So she was very concerned about that. So in my mind, I didn't want to deprive my children of maybe having a motherly figure in their life. Not that I'm trying to give them a mother or replace the mother. They have one. But even like a big sister, or like a role model, if you will, right? I mean, who knows if the relationship were to develop, then yeah, I mean, it could be more of a mother figure, or that's what stepmothers are, but stepmothers usually happen when there's divorce, not death, right? So that's the difference. So there's a whole nother taboo when our spouse is gone versus, you got divorced, right? Because you can start dating 2 weeks later and there's not as much judgment. 2 weeks later after death, they're like, that's disgusting. You're terrible. You're just terrible. So, but that person could have been dying for years too, or I don't know. It's just there isn't necessarily,
and some people are super codependent. Remember, I told you that with my husband. He was super codependent.
Yeah. There's going to be some people that they've been married for so long that they want to now possibly be alone for the next few years. And but you want to be alone for the next few years, but it doesn't mean you want to necessarily be alone. You still want to have some companionship, where you can go out and still date. You want to date, but you don't want to be in a serious relationship, right? Because
don't want a husband, not looking for a boyfriend. Exactly.
That's it. And you know why? Because you have so much context of 3 decades. You have so much context that right there, you don't even know it. That statement that you said even should poo-poo anybody casting judgment on you, because that's what you don't even realize is by you saying that, saying, look, Chris meant so much to me, and I can't even imagine someone else being able to provide that for me, period. But there will maybe be a time where someone else comes along, and for the next chapter or final chapter, you can spend the remaining times of your life here on earth with maybe potentially another person, but it's just so fresh and so new that your mind you can't grasp that concept of reality.
It's also different when you're older, right? When you're younger, like you met Helena when you were
but
younger.
that's not all of it. That's not all of it.
What I'm gonna say, hear me out.
Because I will tell you, now that I'm 51 years old, I don't want to be that guy in the bars. Like, you think
it's not even what I'm saying.
Do you think I want to be on dating apps? Do you think
No, I don't.
Do you think I want to like try to meet someone? No, that's exhausting. Dating is exhausting. Do I want to go on some trips? Do I want to be in a happy, healthy relationship? Do I want to spoil the crap out of someone? Because I am very romantic. I am very affectionate. I am a Aries. You know, I'm a old-fashioned gentleman. My parents are still married, so I come from that era, and it is my love language. So I'm not the guy that, I need to be alone. You know, I'm not.
The challenge is, though, and here's the thing, right? When I look at my life and I think about dating at 50 compared to dating when I was 20, right? So when I met my husband, I was 20. And basically, we were young. We were both broke. We were both trying to make our way in life. We had that courting, dating time, you know, where stuff is fresh and new and you're young and your body's perfect and all that stuff. So once you hit 50,
your body's perfect. I love it. Go ahead.
I'm just saying,
we're working on that right now. We're both going to the gym, but go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like, you can work as hard as you want at the gym, but you're not going to look like you did when you were 20. You're just not. And so,
speak for yourself. No, I'm kidding. No, you're right. You're right.
So you have that. You have the element of, hey, I built a life, and, you know, not a life in more than one way, right? So everything from assets to what you do, what's normal in your house, what isn't, who you are as a person, how you spend time with them.
Your moral compass.
Well, you build this whole life on what you do. And so now when you think about, okay, at 50, you know, and there's other people, there's a guy I know likes me very much. I've been friends with him for a long time, and he just does not have his shit together. He does not have his financial house in order. And for me, that's a deal breaker.
Can I speak about that for a second?
I know. Yes.
Okay. I just want to give you a little perspective. I'm going to tell you.
I just think it's different when you're young and you're building
out. No, walk with me, because you're going to need to hear this. Okay. And so does the audience. I always thought, let me meet another Aries and we're going to be a power couple and rule the world. And I dated someone like that, and it was a freaking disaster.
It's a train wreck.
Yes, because two people, there is no such thing as a power couple ruling the world, because behind the scenes is power struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Let me tell you.
Which is worse than what you see on the
It is worse. So you almost need to, I'm not saying the whole rescue thing, but what I'm saying is two halves become a whole, right? So that person may be in that situation because they need someone like you. Right. And so I would love to marry a hot accountant, because I'm great with numbers, but it's you. There are some strengths and there are some weaknesses, and I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And so you're not trying to equal those. You're trying to be more complete. So I really want you to stop and really think about that for a second, because it's just like that homeless guy on the side of the road. Get a job, you bum. Like, you don't know.
That's what you're hearing when I say that?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. No, I am.
It's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it is exactly what you're saying, because you're very proud, and I understand what you mean by it, and I can tell you that.
I'm saying it's different when you're young and you're building something together. It's different.
It's not necessarily, but what you're saying, there is some truth to the fact that there could be a pattern there, and this person has shown some irresponsibility, and by 40 or 50 or 60 something, their stuff's not together, and I don't want to babysit. I don't want to be their mother. I have my own children. They're raised. They're adults now with lives of their own, so I don't want to raise another child. I get that part. But there could be they could have had their stuff together at some point, and then
something happened.
25 and 24 hasn't been great for everybody, including us here in the real estate. So there could be some explanation. There could be some context behind the scenes. I'm just saying, keep an open mind in what I'm saying, because this is what I'm telling you. 17 years, a little over 7 months for you. So you aren't going to find a carbon copy, right? And you're also, people are at different stages in their life at different times in their life. Some people don't get their stuff together until they're 60 anyway, or they're 50 something anyway, or they had their stuff together and then they lost all their stuff and they're on the road to recovery, or they need to have, some people belong in a relationship and they're not that great by themselves, right? Or maybe he is a train wreck and run. So I don't know, but what I'm saying is there could be, and maybe you get to know this person a little bit more and understand the why. And yeah, there are some toxic people out there, people with bad habits, people with patterns that you probably maybe need to run and hide from. But then there's also the people that, you know, just like you don't want anybody to judge. I didn't want to be judged so fresh after. You're going to go through that right now, probably already are, and you'll talk about it. But let's not potentially judge if everything else works, Law and Order, if everything else works, then that one little thing, give them a little grace and maybe try to understand why. And at some point in time, if there's a spark and there's chemistry and you can see everything, but there's that one thing, that's that one red flag. Try, if that's the only red flag, let's try to uncover the reason for the red flag. And that's what a healthy relationship is bringing that other person up and making them a better person. I know my wife made me a better person.
That's fair.
My wife made me a better person for different things. I probably would be, maybe, thank you, I probably would be more of a train wreck up until this point if it wasn't for her being in my life.
Everything you said is true.
Yeah.
My husband and I definitely made each other better people.
Yes.
And our saving grace was we fought about money early, and he decided to let me handle it.
I just proved my point. I'm smarter than I look. All right. So Chris very well could have been the guy that you met right now. This guy could be something, because listen, early on you had that and you established kind of the boundaries and the roles. You took the lead there. He let you take the lead, and he was man enough to let you take the lead.
Yeah, and I rocked it. I did.
There you go. So there you go.
And
because I promise you, if you were to try to go date someone right now, their stuff is so together. Run and hide, because it ain't going to be so pleasant, right? Because they're going to be a control freak.
Or something. Yeah, that'll be.
Everyone has skeletons in their closet.
Yeah, promise.
And I'll
Or in
add
their
to that.
backyard, or, you know.
I'll add to that. My husband, I always say, made me a better person. Chris made me a better person. He would always bring out the softer side, like where I could be like, he would slow me down, and just make me nicer and make me rethink about what I'm doing.
Yeah, because you're like one of the dudes, and it made you more like a chick, right? The female side. Because that's what's cool about you, is you can both sides.
Yeah.
But
because I really am a female. I'm not trying to be a dude, and I know that's a whole thing for some
and
guys.
You didn't take that as an offensive.
I see that on a lot of the apps.
That's a strength in you, but guys are intimidated by that.
I see that where a lot of the guys say, "Be a female," or don't. I don't forget how they word it.
Yeah. Well,
but
that's because they're not man enough to date someone like you. That's the difference. So
there's
never
that. I mean,
never don't worry, because you could still be feminine and be strong. So
when you think about the challenges of what it would be like to date somebody like me, I already realize that is not easy.
It's not an attractive look. A needy man or needy or clingy female is not attractive whatsoever.
No. Oh.
So also keep that in mind in the audience. And I know a lot of people are shaking your head, and some are like, "Is that me?" Right? And listen, you're gonna screw up. I screwed up. I continue to screw up. So we're not perfect. We are going to have missteps, and sometimes we have to date ourselves, thinking okay, am I a good date? Am I a gentleman? Do I talk about myself too much? Do I let them speak?
Ding, 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 ding. That happens.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I think I always really try to. I'm very aware, I believe, and I'm very cautious of, how I am on the date, to an extent, right? And sometimes maybe even, not to say overthink, because you can't overthink things too. I think you just need to be yourself, or I should say be the best version of yourself, the appropriate version at the time for yourself too, because there will come a point in time where you can, you probably should be the best well-behaved version of yourself, because you don't want to be too inappropriate too early. Right. So there's a time and place to be inappropriate, right? Because, we all have to have a little fun every now and then. But,
yeah.
But anyway. So am I kind of going down the right path? You had some stuff on your mind you wanted to get out today. So.
Not really. It just kind of grabs.
No, you had some stuff going on, and I think I sensed what it is. Let's get it out there. Let's talk about it. This is a show. This is an outlet.
All right.
It's not too soon. It's not too early.
Well, we talked about the apps being super inorganic and how it
Yeah.
just feels funky, right?
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, I told myself it's just a date. Just go. Just have a date. It's okay, right? I think about like one of the first dates I went on. I just made myself go, and then the guy was talking about marriage on the first date. I think I told that to you, and it really freaked me out. I was like, oh, I'm not the right place.
He's a love bomber.
Yeah, no. So anyway, fast forward. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen you guys, and we've been.
Wait a
here
second.
in the
Marriage on
studio
the first
together.
date. On the first date. At least wait till the second date. Okay.
So I think the organic meeting is just better, right? We've talked about that. And so I had been hanging out with Hayden, which is my crew husband, right?
Yeah.
He's got his own husband. He's, my dude.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, could
No
share some
competition
stories on that. But anyway, so one of his friends, basically we are trying to work on this really big project that has a huge commercial element in it. I brought this other guy in I know that is a commercial agent. He had another, so there's 4 guys and me. So I'm the only female in that dynamic.
Yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Yes. Anyway, so ended up hanging out with Hayden. I get dressed. He's like, hey, come meet us at somewhere.
And he's probably the type of friend, good friend, fun friend. He's your fun friend and your going out friend. He's probably even trying to be on the lookout for you and find you a good man. Probably.
He would. Yeah, he definitely would. But he's been super jacked up since we got back from this 4-day cruise.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you we have one coming up that's 2 weeks. We leave out of Miami into the UK. We're going to be all over. Like he has to get his shit together because he's like falling apart.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's like, hey, come out, have some drinks, have some dinner. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll come. So I get dressed. I go. I think I don't know. I meet him there.
Hey. Sexy bag.
Anyway, we get there
Yeah.
and Hayden's husband was out of town and he says, oh, I got to go home. I got to go take the dogs out. I don't feel like hanging out anymore.
Who took the dogs out? Waiting for Rob to bring that one out. He's got all the good sound effects.
So basically we said, hey, I don't really want to go home. Let's, and it was his idea too. He says, hey, let's go hang out. Like Hayden's going to go home, but let's go hang out. Okay, cool. So we did. Hung out again the next night, nothing, didn't kiss him, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's been like 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, doing stuff. Like I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm not used to staying out this late.
Yeah.
I got to go to bed. I have to get up early to go to the gym. Like I don't live this life. So we end up
Especially
going,
during the week. It's tough to do that.
It was during the week. So we end up going to this other bar, like over by where I live. And we're sitting there.
Can I pause you for a second? Because this is so funny. I want you to continue the story. I'm thinking about myself because some people can relate to this too. Like the life we live, we're semi-important and we but we are important. So people rely upon us. We have transactions, we have agents, we have staff, we have admin, we have all these things. So it's like during the week, when you want to meet us during the week for like a drink and for like dinner, and when you're a fun person, like we like to be fun, and then it only takes just a few, and you have fun. But there is that fine line. I'm almost afraid to during the week
because then you want to keep going.
You don't have an off switch, you know, and you cannot do that in this our Monday through Friday. It's very tough. You can almost chalk that day off the next day, but save it for the weekend. But go ahead.
So anyway, a little bit of backstory. So the guy's a Wall Street COO banker guy, retired. He's 49, is a year younger than me.
Okay.
And we're sitting here hanging out.
So he's got his stuff together.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know that that's true.
Okay. Well,
even though it sounds like it. No,
okay.
I don't. There's other
You're
stuff.
sensing it.
Anyway.
You're a tough date, but go ahead.
I already said that. This is no secret here. Come on.
You're undateable.
Maybe that's it. Anyway,
a lot of fun, but undateable.
So we're sitting at the bar, and this other guy starts hitting on me and asking me out.
Wait, while you're on a date with this
No,
guy?
I wasn't really on a date with him. We were just hanging out. I told you
Okay.
that.
So he sensed just the friend thing. Okay.
Stop,
Like
you
it.
guys.
Like it.
Anyway, so he starts asking me out. The guy was a Green Beret. He did like 3 tours
Okay.
overseas.
More,
Like he's a badass.
More your type.
No, he wasn't my type at
Oh,
all.
okay.
So the point is, you will not even let me spit
Chris
it
was
out.
a badass. I'm just trying to give context
He
here.
was,
but
but so he comes back. The guy I'm hanging out with comes back from the
what
bathroom.
about
Hears
him wasn't your type? Was it his physical, the way he looked?
Well, for one, he was a black guy, and I don't date black guys.
Okay.
Nothing about him. I just don't.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he starts like
Not your
asking me
type.
out. And so the next thing you know, the other guy that I had been hanging out with says, "Oh, he seems really cool. You should go out with him." So now they're both like pushing. They're both like pushing on me
Yeah.
to go on a date.
This moment, he
And mind you, we'd been drinking, so Saucy comes out. And I start pushing back, and I start getting pissy, and I'm like, "Don't tell me
Yeah.
who the hell I'm dating, where I'm going,
No.
this does not work like this."
Yeah.
So I got mad, and I got to leave. I'm like, "You guys go have fun. I'm leaving." So,
Yeah. Yep.
so I got up, started walking. Oh God, I don't know how
I
much
have the
I even
opposite
want to
problem.
tell
I don't
you.
have anybody trying to jam anybody down my throat.
Okay.
Right?
So anyway, that's what happened. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'll be here Thursday. If you want to come back, I'll just take you to dinner and a movie. And here's my number. I'm like, "Okay, cool. Got it. Yep." So then walk outside because I'm leaving at this point. He follows me out. And he's like, "What's wrong? I don't understand. Why do you want to go out on a date with him? He was just being a really nice guy. Like he wasn't being." I said, "I know, but I don't need to be hooked up. Like I can find my own dates. Thank you very much. I can handle that."
So okay. So let me spin this whole thing around to like the context of like the show, because the show Live, Love, Lost, we talk about a lot of things, and it is about relationships as well. So these are real world scenarios that even people who maybe haven't experienced death, or maybe a divorce, or just broken up in a relationship, whatever it is, but there's good context here, right? And there's also good content here for those that have lost someone. Maybe it's early or it's been years and years. It isn't easy out there, and we do still have that. You asked me, well, what was it like on your first date? Because we're still battling that in an extent. So we
hard,
might not even realize subconsciously what's still in there, and emotions. We might even have some guilt in there. And but it's also like, hey, people, back off. I'm just trying to live my life on my own terms. I don't have a playbook. I don't have a rule book. I don't have, I don't know what the next scene looks like. I'm just trying to live. So quit judging. You've got your own problems. You probably have more problems than I have, right? So for those listening, I want you to really soak this in, because this is fun banter back and forth. But this is a reality too, because you're living this right now, and you're finding out how funny and hilarious, but also frustrating and difficult. We can laugh about it because we're fun people, but this is a real struggle we're talking about.
Yeah. So my story's on pause. I guess I'll add a little bit more to it before I resume. But it's this. I feel like it's the same story with guys every single time, and maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can't. But for me, I don't put that I'm a widow on my dating profile. I don't tell people that. It's not like my first conversation. For some people it is. For me it isn't. Yeah. And so so the guy that was hitting on me, he was like, "Oh, are you single?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "Oh, well, were you ever married?" I said, "Yes. I was married for a long time. I was with my partner for 31
You're waiting
years.
for him to ask it, then you'll say it. You were not going to. Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, well, when did you get divorced?" And I said, "I didn't." And then he says, "Oh, well, are you still living together?" And
he's like,
I say,
"Oh, it's one of those open relationships."
"Are you still living together?" And I say, "No." "Oh, well," and they're trying to think in their head, like, what the heck is going on? Like, I should find this one text with this guy
That's good.
where it goes on and on and on. And some of the stuff that he landed in, like, I mean, we're talking like dominatrix. He's asking me, trying to guess, right?
Cuckold.
Like, never does anybody guess you might actually be a widow. That's the crazy part to me. So I don't tell them.
There's some kind of fetish.
I don't tell them. I let these guys rack their effing brain trying to figure it out, and I just answer them yes or no, and I don't give them too much more information.
Yeah.
And so to resume on the story,
This was a guy that you weren't necessarily interested in, though, right?
no, not particularly.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
Well, and that's
looking
going to
at-
be that's a good point, because when it comes time to
and
someone,
and I remember how we were talking about my type. Like I wouldn't pick him as my type, and probably
Yeah.
same for him. You know,
Yeah.
he already said he
Well-
likes Latina chicks with dark hair. I'm clearly not it. You know.
yeah, sometimes we don't know what we like. Just same.
Well, what
same
I'm
as
saying,
females,
so
but-
sometimes stuff happens, right? So
Yeah.
we have this running joke with my team because I'm really good at silence. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know how like if you're having a conversation about something, then you ask a question and then somebody doesn't say anything and you get that super uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
And usually that person's gonna break. They're just gonna say something.
Yeah.
Not me. I will win 1,000 times every time in that game. I will win.
Oh, really?
I will
so
win.
quit giving me so much stuff when I don't return a text, because I can also do the same thing.
It's not the same over
But then,
text.
but then there are females that like I experience that you're not even in a relationship with, and you're not dating, nor have you never really, but there's some kind of weird situationship, and it's the silent treatment. You're giving me the silent treatment, like, but no, that's something I would do if we were in a relationship. I mean, friends.
It's not even the silent treatment. It's just when you ask a hard question and it gets uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and then somebody wants to just fill that silence because it's uncomfortable and nobody wants it quiet. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I'm
human
talking
nature
about.
type of thing. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we were.
Yeah.
And then I just looked at him and I didn't say an effing word. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Well, let's go back.
I'm not going to break.
Let's go back to the conversation, because I think people need to hear this too, because I don't think we have the right or wrong answer. We can just tell you about our experiences, and it might apply differently for different people. But because when I was on the apps, I did put in there widow and didn't never really think about it. That could have been a deal killer for many. So that might have been one of the reasons. That could have shortened my window or closed the door on a few.
Females are probably either attracted to it or shunned by it. One of the two.
Yeah, and it's probably the ones that would be more attracted to are the ones who can relate were widowed. So
Anyway, we have this silence.
but no, I'm curious. So what yeah, I mean, what are you going to be less if you were more attracted to this person and there was spark and there was chemistry, you may not have been as evasive about it, right? You might have been a little bit more forward with it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not forward. I usually kind of want the guy to make the first move.
Yeah.
That's usually my
Well, look,
ammo.
I'm just talking about here's the thing. Obviously, if they ask about it, I mean, your past relationship, that's probably more or less. And I don't even. Here's what's crazy. I'm different. Like, I don't necessarily I'm never going to ask you about your past relationships, because sometimes you can't like unsee things and you can't unthink things, and you get these certain visuals, and I've experienced some situations with females over the years that, like, man, you said too much, and like you just killed it. Like, there's no coming back from that. Like, I feel like there's a TMI in some situations.
I know what you mean.
I don't need to hear every detail, and I don't need to hear about every relationship you're in. Well, I dated this guy and this guy. And if you're always constantly talking about guys that you dated all the time, I mean, that actually, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a big turnoff. Like, it's kind
Nobody
of
wants
an
to hear
it
that.
factor. It's cringe. So I don't try to do that myself, but I can definitely laugh with you and have conversations about exes and the crazy things if we're both having those conversations.
Yeah.
If it's like a back and forth, but I don't think anybody necessarily, you can both land on that topic, and go back and forth. But I think I'm very careful about that. And I'm never going to ask you about your past relationships.
See, and I can get why, as a guy, you feel that way because I know how women are, and I totally understand.
Well, they want to know if you're one of those
Yeah.
guys, like bad experiences they've had in their past
So,
experiences.
but see, for me, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care whatever a guy would tell me. I'm not gonna get weird about it. Where I know a lot of women will.
Depends on what they're saying.
I don't think there's anything anybody could say to
okay.
me.
Well,
Really,
maybe
I
I'll
don't.
take it.
It was a different relationship. It's not me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're sitting there, and again, he's like, you should go out with him. He seems like a super cool guy, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then was just super silent. And next thing you know, we have this awkward silence. And he was like, I think he said, you don't like him, or he's not your type or something. And I said, no.
Yeah.
And then we just sat there, and he's like, well, what is your type? And I just looked at him and didn't say anything.
No, that's you'll know it when you see it, right? And because it's the same thing when I go to the store, I'm looking around, like maybe wanting to get some new fit for the weekend or something, right? So, they'll ask you what you're looking for, and you're like, I don't have any clue, but I'll know when I see it, right? So you're waiting for something that pops out at you, something fresh, something that you can see yourself in, right? So I think it's the same. Dating's the same way. You don't. Even if you have this preconceived type, people fall for the opposite all the time of their type. Yeah. So you can't even go into it with that mindset.
Thinking that's your,
Yeah, you just have to, it's so funny because you literally, when you're not looking for it, is when it does happen. And I can speak from experience that being the case,
So that's kind of what
accidentally presents itself. And I'm also going to tell you that for a guy, and I think I've said this before, it's funny because you said for the guy to take the lead, right? There are certain situations and there are certain circumstances where the guy can't necessarily take the lead.
Like what?
Okay, well, let me put it in context.
Oh, yes, I want to hear this.
Oh, boy, maybe I should.
No, please do.
Okay, so there are certain situations where the guy can't take the lead.
Why?
Okay, so you talked about you have this thing that you refuse to do, right? And
like what? What do you mean?
Okay. So let me give you a reminder. On your dating apps, you would instantly delete a profile if you saw that they were what?
Like in their bed? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, no.
A real estate agent.
Real estate agent.
There you
Yes.
go. In the industry.
Yes,
right?
I would.
But at the same time, I mean, sometimes people like us who are busy professionals, and Monday through Friday we're busy, and like we were talking about bumping grocery carts just out of
to have fun.
Having fun, but it's the reality of the situation is where do you go? Because the dating apps don't work, and you're not necessarily. It's like where are you going to meet this person, right? So sometimes it just naturally happens that you're around people in your industry more. And that's been since I've been in Tampa for the 11 years I've been in Tampa. Most of the people I've dated have been in the industry because that's just going to naturally happen because I'm not out there. Otherwise, I'm meeting them in a bar.
But
right?
here's the
hold
problem
on.
with that.
No, there's no problem with that.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you.
I'll tell you what I think the problem is.
Well, but that's you and that's me.
Okay.
Because I would much rather meet someone in the industry than meet someone out in a bar because people out in the bar, not that there's anything wrong with meeting someone to the bar because I may go to a bar hoping to meet someone, right? But I don't rule out an entire industry.
Sounds like an oxymoron.
No, it isn't. Life is a freaking oxymoron. So it's like it is. The reality of the situation is, where do you go, right? So, but there's also too, where if you just don't get so preoccupied about and have all these rules, it just will. You said the word organic. That's when it organically will happen because, okay, something happens and there's. You immediately have a spark or maybe a chemistry even when you meet someone for the first time. You put them in one or two buckets. You're like, oh, he's cute. She's pretty attractive, right? You instantly will do that. And then the more time you spend with, you get crushes. We can have crushes. So you may not date someone in the industry. Doesn't mean you don't have a crush on them. And a crush would be, I'm attracted to them. I really like their energy. I really like their vibe. They're funny. And the more you get to know them, man, I can really see myself dating this person, right? Mm-hmm. So, or you even start to, a crush is you start to think about them when they're not around. That's an actual crush. They are occupying your mind, right? So then naturally that could end up going somewhere. But if you're in a situation where you're the man, it could be highly inappropriate, right? Unless you really, really know. There has to be a sign. There has to be a signal like, hey, it's okay, and then you can kind of take the lead.
So that's what you're saying? Like if it's someone in the industry, you feel like the female should make the first move because you don't know if it's okay? That's what I heard you say.
It's sort of, but you're also taking it out of context. It's yes, that's almost exactly what I'm saying, but it's when it's a little closer to home potentially. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of different directions I can go with this, but what I'm saying is it's not always going to be the case. Like sometimes you will, or let's put it this way. Let's say it's not even industry. We're in real estate. What if it's someone at your job, someone at work? I mean, That is going to happen. Some people meet the love of their life and the person that they die with at work.
Which is okay, but one of you should probably go get a different job.
That probably ends up happening.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you can't.
Prime example, I'm very good friends with a broker of a very big, or was the broker of a very big company, and he started dating. He was actually married, different story, but he started dating somebody at work and then end up getting.
But so I want to back up
terminated.
because you are hell-bent and determined, and you are stuck in this mindset, and you're very stubborn about it by some of your comments because, and I'm going to call you out on it.
Okay.
Because you're like, yeah, but they should get another job. Okay. I mentioned earlier before the whole power couple and power struggle, right? So that does exist, but there's also a healthy balance of people, right? Two people can be in the real estate industry, and it's not necessarily a power struggle because they're not. You don't want to date yourself, right?
Right.
That you don't, right? I know
Agreed.
I don't want to date me.
Yeah.
So, or someone just like me.
It would
I
be
should
terrible.
Say. That's what I'm saying. So I'm a great person to date, but I wouldn't want to date the carbon copy of myself in a female, right? So because listen. Some females are attracted to more manly men. I'm not threatened at all by a very powerful woman. That it's actually kind of a turn on for someone to be as, maybe type A-ish, but there's also that balance of letting the man be the man and letting and women, I think, generally want that because there are plenty of women that are in relationships where it's almost like they need to have a relationship where they dominate the male, but they're not at all attracted to that, right? And I find that kind of weird, but that happens. So where I'm going with this, I got off track, is with going back to the industry thing. I think if that person is the right balance of, strengths and weaknesses, because what you're probably thinking of is someone exactly like me, and you're right, but there could be someone else in the industry that you could make that. It's almost as if, let's say, Chris also was in real estate, and you're shaking your head no because you don't see him that way. But it doesn't mean that there can't be someone in the industry that continues to be in the industry that you guys balance each other. I'm just trying to help you and keep. I'm not trying to change your mind on things, and you're probably more than likely will never date someone in the industry or settle down with someone in the industry. But it doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Perhaps I'm not going to say never because you don't know. Like you
but
say,
a person like me, that's where I've really kind of didn't by accident or happen chance, and the females, they were in the same boat. Like they're not out there at the bars necessarily, but they are lonely and they do want to meet someone. So it just, I dated someone for many, many years that was on the team, and we kind of met each other before she actually came on the team, and then when she joined it, I met her first. Before she came on the team. And actually, another teammate introduced me at a team function. You remember Kevin Overstreet? Mm-hmm. Okay, he did the Baba.
Yep.
Right? So I met her at Baba. I was actually a speaker, right? So she was in the audience. I remember her being in the audience. I remember instantly having like a little mini crush because she's like, oh, she's my type. She's really cute.
Yeah.
All of that. So I had a little mini crush. And... yeah, there you go. And I was very single. And I can remember even the audience, she was like almost like she was a little freaked out a little bit because you always got to lock eyes with someone in the audience as a presenter, right? You don't not look at the audience. And so she's like probably thinking to herself, this guy keeps looking at me. What's going on? But she was also in the.
I know he's so cute. He's blushing like a little girl.
No, I'm not.
It's so
No,
cute.
I'm just tan. So she was sitting up front because she's the type that sits up front, takes notes, and she was sitting in the middle. So I couldn't happen to lock eyes on someone attractive. So the ironic thing is after this whole thing is done, so we were probably having our moments.
But you're saying you couldn't or you did?
Listen. Okay. Listen. I know, right? So we definitely were aware of each other. Myself as the presenter, her in the audience. We locked eyes more than a few times, but after the whole thing was done, I think there was appetizers and that kind of stuff. So the team member had a conversation with her, not even knowing any of that stuff was going on, and brought her over to meet me. And then I'm like, oh wow, okay, here we go. The person that I'm sitting here kind of crushing on a little bit in the audience, and she just brings her right to me, type of. She would be great for the team. Da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, hey,
Bring her on the team, baby.
thanks a lot. So she comes over and does the whole interview thing. And then she's definitely the type never to make a decision on the first interview. Well, let me think about it. Did the whole thing, and then so she came into the team meeting. I always invite them to the team meeting because there's a good dynamic there. I want them to meet the people they potentially could work with, and that's a good move, right?
Yep.
Because if we don't like you either, we don't necessarily want you on the team. So she came to that, and then I had some kind of. I was invited to dinner, and it was towards the end of the day, and she was in the office, and the people were in the office, and we were the only ones left, and we were all going to, hey, now, the two people that brought us to dinner, and then her, my ex. And so I'm just like, hey, do you want to come? I mean, obviously I had intentions, but I didn't necessarily have intentions because
That was the bait. You want to see if she
well,
takes it.
yeah, because I was in that moment where it could be highly inappropriate for me as the man to take the lead. It would have been highly inappropriate. I could have been misreading those.
Yeah.
I thought she was.
You're immediately the jackass.
I thought potentially there was some traction there. I thought there was some chemistry. I thought there was a flirting, but I don't want to be that creep either, right? So I could not take the lead.
Okay.
So at some point in time, so we go to dinner, all of us, the four of us, just the four of us, and they leave, we stay, and then we were at, it was actually right across from here, before I was even at this office, it was at Besitos, and then we went over to the Irish bar that was there, that's now the sushi place, and we had some more drinks, and then at some point in time, and I don't know who made the move first, but
It gets easier the more drinks you
I'm
have.
going to get really cringe here because I don't necessarily condone this, and I definitely make fun of these people and definitely grossed out by these people. But we were probably the first kiss actually happened then, and it was in public and it was at the bar, right? So, and then the kiss became a longer kiss, and it was almost like a full-on make-out session there at the bar. So I don't necessarily promote it or condone it, but hey, we were both in the moment it happened, so we're very spontaneous. And she was also an Aries too, so it's like F the rest of you. We don't care what you think. And probably if I was
and that's
eating
where the
dinner
fight started.
with my date, I'd probably be like, get a room. That's probably what everyone else was thinking, right? So it was that kind of moment. So that's what I meant by that. Is sometimes I couldn't take the lead there. But when I knew the coast was clear,
That's good that you didn't.
play ball.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, no, are you kidding me? That could be a lawsuit. That could be a lot of things. That could be, and I don't want to be that guy.
My thinking when I say that, just to give you some
Because
context.
I know there are men out there that are way that way. And inappropriately, wildly inappropriately that way. And I know
Play ball.
That's a major. No, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
do, yes.
There are certain industry males that I know, and I won't say their names to call them out, that speak of women like an object.
Yeah.
I was actually out to lunch with an industry person, with an industry female, and both kind of this is kind of the getting to knowing each other phase. Like this was midday. There weren't even drinks involved, and this person got highly inappropriate and highly just like the way he talked, and like I was cringe, and the female was like, man, that guy is a major creep, right?
Yeah.
And just really I mean, not very respectful. And there was a female there. I'm like,
Yeah.
how could you talk about females like that in front of another female? I was just blown away. Like, listen, dude, like that's not a good look for you.
My thinking when I say that is don't poo where you eat. So let's say you date someone.
I 100% disagree with that. Just saying. I 100% disagree. Don't go looking for it and don't make that the company pen, the company ink, all that kind of stuff. I, in theory, agree with you, right? But I've also personally have experienced it, and it has happened, and it was okay for me, right? Because even after we stopped dating, she was still on the team, and it wasn't awkward and it wasn't weird, and we were still friends, and there it could also backfire, but in this situation it didn't. So I think it depends on how you are as a person, what you can and can't handle, and what they can and can't handle, because it could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it could
and
be.
yeah, it could be a whole series of things for sure. But there are certain situations where
It could affect
I'm going to tell you, it's even if you're so dead set, I mean, it's not going to like stop those feelings that you have, right? You're still going to have crush. You're still going to think these things. So, okay, then maybe it comes up, because it did come a point in time in that relationship where she said to me, do you want me to be your girlfriend or your agent?
Oh, that's fair.
And I said to her this. I said, oh, are you saying you're giving me an ultimatum and I have to have a choice? Because here's how I'll respond to that. If we can't work together, how can we live together, right? And so the relationship was starting to get more serious. At one point in time, we were not at one point in time, we were actually getting ready to move in together, picked up furniture together, and that was the plan. Well, but then we never end up living together, and so it was more me, and my stuff, and not like, okay, you are wanting to go down this road, because in the very beginning, we didn't tell anybody. For the longest time, we didn't tell anybody. And so we were dating on the team, and no one knew about it. And it wasn't until no one even suspected, and maybe they suspected, but there was just no evidence. We were pretty good about it. We were pretty slick, I might have accidentally called her babe a few times, because I have a bad habit of saying, hey, babe, hey, babe. It's like baby, babe. So I have a bad habit of doing that. So, but it wasn't until we had a Remax function in Vegas. And so we all, the group of us that went to Vegas, I can remember being in the car with one of the agents and his wife. And so we were all in the car we're all staying at the same place. Everyone was staying at the same hotel. And then we're in the car, sharing the same car over, and then there's a gate. I didn't think it was all going to happen like this. And then they were asking for like the room number. And so obviously we were staying in the same room, because at that time, the brown chicken, brown cow, at that time, and we were
snap.
we were on that level already. I mean, we were a year into it, maybe 8 months into it. So yeah, there's a lot going on, plenty. But anyway, I remember in that cab ride, it was the funniest thing. We were at the gate, did not realize the guard would ask us, that part, because we had reservations already. Maybe he asked us what the reservation was under. And so I had to like admit it, that it was the same room, right? So they were in the same room, because then he's like, Diana, how about yours? And then they're like, it's the same.
So what happened in Vegas did not stay in Vegas on that trip.
Before it got to Vegas. So it was kind of out. Then I said, hey, we were actually dating, and we're actually been dating for surprise, So
Here we go.
So then, and clearly there's some people on the team that didn't like it. Those were mostly females that probably also had a crush on me. So
oh, jeez.
there was one in particular.
This is where we're going.
No. And so I could see but that person was toxic no matter what, whatever. But my point is, in that situation, it was never really a problem. But I could see where it could be a problem.
Yeah.
But also what I'm saying is, we did it successfully. It happened. There's no regrets. And it never was because we were both in the industry, period. The relationship didn't work out because it had nothing to do with both being in real estate. The relationship didn't work out because you can't try to when she went back and gave me the ultimatum, agent or girlfriend, here's what I said. Well, if we can't do both, then how can we live together if I have to make a choice? That was my thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, you should not give me a choice. I mean, if we can't even work together, how can we be together? I didn't sit well with me.
And what was the response to that?
Well, we broke up shortly afterwards.
Okay.
Because she wanted me to make a choice. And I'm like, well, you make a great agent. So
all right, then.
I want you to stay and be an agent, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life with you if we can't even work together. Now, I might have eventually been like, hey, honey, but here was why I said that, thought that. So you're going to go to a different team? You're going to go to a different brokerage? You're going to go that's just,
It got weirder.
It would get weird.
Yeah.
I'd almost be offensive,
Yeah.
at that point. So I would take offense to that, right? So, because that's almost like, not like, well, why don't you guys work together? You guys work separately. It's like that
Yeah.
don't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then the weird factor definitely escalates
No,
there.
I mean it's just not cool.
I'm not limited it to just agents or brokers. I mean, shoot, it could be an appraiser, right?
But there you go.
Let's say stuff goes south, and now that appraiser
How
gets
about-
assigned
how about
on one
an
of your
inspector
listings.
up there checking out the the pipes and the plumbing and all that.
I'm
kind
just
of stuff.
saying it could get real weird, you
Yeah.
know?
Laying the pipe.
It could get weird.
I don't know, plumber. Maybe a plumber laying the pipe.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, just keep an open mind, and people out in the audience too. I mean, don't.
So if you're listening, where did you meet your person? If you met him at work, we want to know.
Okay, well, Rob gave us the 58 minutes in, so to be
know.
continued. We'll have to save that on the
I
next
didn't even
episode.
finish my story, and you totally forgot. You didn't even realize.
I know. No, I wanted to keep the audience in suspense, and I'm trying to evade. I'm trying to evade, obviously, for sure. But we're gonna
Evade what?
nothing. We're gonna pick your story up when we come back on the next episode. We're gonna take a break because our time is up. So we're gonna leave you hanging, audience. So you come back for
Sorry
more.
about
But I hope you had fun.
It'll be
and
spicy.
We also thank you for just hanging with us when we squirrel out sometimes and get derailed. But that's the fun
Every
of the
time.
show.
Every
It's
time.
the fun of the show. So we get off topic a lot and stay off topic. So thank you so much for keeping up and listening. And we had a great time. We always do. So stay tuned, and we will see you on episode number 15.
Give us your feedback. Let
Yes.
us know what you want us
We're
to talk
dying
about.
to hear about it. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.